A driver who finished second place a week earlier just got buried at the back of a 36-car field. And inside the garage, people are already asking if his seat at 2311 Racing is safe. No team confirmed it, no contract story broke. But one qualifying crash at Sonoma Raceway turned a comeback story into a question nobody wants to say out loud. Stay until the end, because what actually happened on race day changes everything you think you know about this story. And it is not the ending most fans expected. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button so you do not miss the next breakdown. To understand why one crash mattered so much, you have to go back a few weeks. At Michigan International Speedway on June 7, 2026, Bubba Wallace brought his number 23 Toyota home in third place, his best finish of the season through 15 Cup Series races. After months of frustration, that result put him back in contention. Then came Naval Base Coronado near San Diego on June 21st. Early in that race, the number 23 Toyota dropped 2 full laps behind the field after a loose wheel, and 2 crew members were later suspended by NASCAR for the mistake. By any normal measure, that race should have ended right there. Instead, Wallace fought his way back through the field and crossed the line second, the best road course finish of his Cup Series career. That result jumped him 2 spots in the point standings and put him firmly inside the provisional playoff picture. Heading into Sonoma, the storyline was simple. This man had momentum. Saturday changed everything. Wallace qualified in Group 2 and immediately showed speed, recording the 4th fastest lap in Saturday practice. His first qualifying lap was good enough to put him provisionally inside the top 10. Then, pushing for more on a later lap, he ran wide exiting the corner, dropped a wheel into the gravel, and lost all grip in an instant. The car snapped sideways, spun, and slammed nose first into the safer barrier. Wallace climbed out under his own power and was confirmed uninjured, but the front end of the Toyota was destroyed. Under NASCAR rules, any unapproved repair sends a car to the rear of the field, no matter where it originally qualified. Wallace was not alone. Legacy Motor Club's Eric Jones and Front Row Motorsports' Noah Gragson were also dropped to the back after repairs to their own cars. But for Wallace, the timing could not have been worse. If you think a single crash should not define an entire season, drop a comment right now, because that debate is exactly where this story gets complicated. Road courses have never been kind to Bubba Wallace. Across 37 career Cup Series road course starts, his average finish sits at 21.8. Sonoma specifically has been one of his roughest tracks, and in 2026, the Cup Series schedule includes only 4 road course races all year. Every single one carries extra weight, because there is no room to waste one. And this one was wasted before the green flag even dropped. The timing made things worse. NASCAR had already suspended 2 crew members from the number 23 team over the loose wheel incident at San Diego, sidelining them through the race at Chicagoland on July 5th. That meant Wallace had to qualify and race at Sonoma with replacement crew, something he openly admitted was not ideal heading into the weekend. It is easy to see why fans started connecting the dots. One rough month became 2. 2 became a pattern. And in NASCAR's silly season, a pattern is sometimes all it takes for speculation to start. But here is something worth pausing on before this story tips into rumor territory. His teammate, Tyler Reddick, has also had difficult moments this season, including his own mistake at Coronado that he publicly took responsibility for. Nobody questioned his future over it. The difference with Wallace has always come down to visibility. He remains the only black driver competing full-time in the Cup Series, one of the sport's most recognizable faces and a magnet for media attention that other drivers simply do not face in the same way. When he struggles, it becomes a headline. When others do, it is often forgotten by the next race. If 23XI Racing were quietly preparing to move on from Bubba Wallace, you would expect sponsors to start pulling back. They have not. Upper Deck unveiled a Space Jam paint scheme for the number 23 Toyota at Chicagoland on July 5th, marking the 30th anniversary of the film and tying directly into team co-owner Michael Jordan's history with the franchise. Upper Deck's president called it a major celebration built around fan engagement, and the team's president framed the partnership as a way to expand the brand's reach both on and off the track. That is not the kind of marquee activation a team builds around a driver they are quietly preparing to release. Add to that Wallace's multi-year contract extension signed back in September 2024, and the fact that Corey Heim, fresh off his first career Cup win at San Diego, is joining the organization in 2027 as a full-time driver of a brand new car, not as a replacement for Wallace's seat. That points toward the team expanding its lineup, not trimming it down. In the hours after the crash, every official statement avoided the future entirely. 23XI's team account called it a tough break and promised to get the car ready to fight from the back. Denny Hamlin said, "One qualifying crash does not define a season." Tyler Reddick pointed out that road courses punish every mistake, and that Wallace had shown real speed all weekend. Notice what none of them said. Nobody mentioned a contract. Nobody mentioned next season. They talked about Sunday, and nothing beyond it. In a sport where silence sometimes says more than words, that gap was impossible to ignore. But it was still just a gap, not proof of anything. Race day. So here is what actually happened when the green flag dropped. Starting from the rear of a 36-car field on one of the hardest tracks in NASCAR to pass on, Bubba Wallace did not fade away. He drove his way back into the top 10, clawing through traffic exactly the way he had at San Diego the week before. For a stretch of the race, it looked like he was building toward another statement finish from nowhere. Then the race turned again. Wallace went off track multiple times as the laps wore on, losing the positions he had fought so hard to gain. He crossed the finish line 22nd, with no stage points to show for the effort. In the championship standings, that result cost him 2 spots and 12 points off the cut line, putting him back on the wrong side of the playoff bubble heading into the final stretch of the regular season. Meanwhile, Shane Van Gisbergen won the race outright, vaulting himself back into the provisional chase picture with 8 regular season races left. So where does that leave Bubba Wallace? Not eliminated, not fired, not officially in any contract dispute because none has been confirmed. But back on the outside looking in an organization built by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin on a single standard: championships, not recoveries. The crash at Sonoma did not end his season, but race day did not save it either. The number 23 is still in the fight, but the margin for error just got smaller. And there are only a handful of road courses left where a result like San Diego could change the conversation again. So here is the real question. Was Sonoma just one bad weekend in a long season? Or was it the moment that exposed exactly how thin the margin really is for Bubba Wallace this year? Tell me what you think in the comments. And if you know someone who follows NASCAR closely, send this their way, because this is far from over.